easier. However, if you're unable to do so, that's okay too. We have some wonderful chat monitors here ready to answer your questions. Next slide, please. So firstly, we'd like to start off with a land acknowledgement, as UPSA does at every event, to recognize and respect Indigenous peoples and their relationship with the traditional territories. If you do happen to be on a different land, please take a moment to acknowledge the traditional land that you are currently residing on. So I'm just going to read the land acknowledgement. We recognize that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships with the territories upon which York University campuses are located that precede the establishment of York University. York University acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Toronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Métis. It is now home to many Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement to peaceably share and care for the Great Lakes region. Next slide, please. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with UPSA or just need a refresher, we're happy to give you a quick run through. So UPSA is the Undergraduate Psychology Student Association, and as a club, we aim to guide students towards academic success and professional development by offering free academic services like peer mentoring and peer tutoring to psychology undergraduates. Although if you're not a psych student and are just taking psych courses, you're very welcome to talk to our peer mentors and peer tutors as well. Our Community Relations Department hosts academic and social events throughout the year to foster interaction amongst psychology undergraduates and spread important information within the field of psychology. Finally, we also have a strong social media presence thanks to our wonderful marketing department. Please visit our website and follow our social media platforms to learn more about our club and connect with us. You will find all our socials listed on a slide sometime during this event. And now I'll pass it to Chloe with the next slide.
Oh, I touched the mic. Thank you very much. So the agenda for today looks like this. We will start introducing you to your professors between now and 6:30. From 6:30 to 7:50 p.m., you will be participating in your randomly assigned breakout rooms in which you will be meeting the professors as they rotate around different rooms. We will explain this more in detail. And at 7:50, we'll be returning to the main room where everyone will have the opportunity to fill out a feedback form, which we highly appreciate. You'll also have the opportunity to ask any further questions to professors and students, and even ask for their contact information if you'd like. We would also love you to take screenshots of professors and students together when we return to the main room to post on our social media, that is, if you feel comfortable being in the picture. I'm going to magic and go to the next slide. Ding-ding-ding. So next, we would like to tell you some important instructions for the main event. First of all, as mentioned before, we would love for you to keep your cameras on throughout the event. Participants will be split into 4 breakout rooms, each lasting for 20 minutes. Students will stay in their breakout rooms while professors will be switching to the next breakout room. So we will have 4 rotations in total of 4 professors. So each of you will have the chance to meet with all the professors. Please be mindful of the time. There will be a reminder sent out to each breakout room, and please be aware that your conversation with the professor may be interrupted while we ship them to their next breakout room. If you wish to ask questions or have any comments in the breakout rooms, you can just use the raise your hand feature in the Zoom, write your question in the chat box, or simply just unmute yourself. There will be a facilitator in each room to manage the order of the questions and monitor the chat to ensure all questions are addressed. Don't worry, if you're having difficulties coming up with questions, the facilitators will assist you out. We suggest that you be respectful in your breakout rooms and ensure you are on mute when you aren't speaking to avoid disturbing others who are. And lastly, don't hesitate to ask the professors questions. After all, they're just as thrilled to meet you as you are. And they're here to assist you to the best of their abilities. If any of your questions go unanswered during the session, send them in private message in the main room if the professor is okay with it. Passing the mic to MC Payment.
I don't have a mic, but I can grab the end of my phone.
Yeah, the mic too.
Okay. Can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. So now we get to the interesting part. Now I will ask the wonderful professors we have with us tonight, one by one, to take about 3 to 4 minutes to introduce themselves, the research, and any other interesting fact that they want to let you know about. The professors have also kindly provided a blurb that we have put on their slides for you to follow along with. So can I have the next slide, please? So first, we have Dr. Maxwell Barranti. So Dr. Barranti, please tell us about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. You can just call me Max. That's totally fine by me. You'll notice that picture is a little bit old. That's just pre-COVID beard. So I look a little bit different when you see me around the halls. So don't be too confused. I have a little bit more scruff these days. I recognize some faces around here, which is great from my personality and research methods courses. So I'm happy to see so many familiar faces. And for those of you who haven't taken those courses, then hope to see you in those. Oh, I'm highlighted now. That's exciting. So sometime soon. When it comes to research, I do most of my research with undergraduates since I'm a teaching stream-oriented professor, and where I work with undergraduates to look at questions about personality broadly. And often I'm exceptionally interested in the ways in which we perceive our own personalities, the personalities of others. Like, are we accurate about, do we have this self-knowledge about our own personalities, or are we accurate about how we perceive other people's personalities? And how does this understanding of ourselves and others sort of play out in terms of consequences for our interpersonal relationships? But we've worked on all kinds of different questions that are largely driven by undergraduate interests. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to meeting you all, and I'll pass it on to the next professor. I don't know who that is.
The next professor is Dr. Ward Strathers. And please, an electronic round of applause for Dr. Veranti. Go ahead, Dr. Strathers. Oh, you may be muted, by the way. I'm so sorry.
Don't be. I'm usually pretty good about that. Like Max, I'm quite comfortable with you calling me Ward. In fact, that's my preference. So I'm guess what you would call a lifer at York. I've been here for over 25 years now. I've essentially had my whole career at York, working in the Department of Psychology, and specifically in one of the areas, the designated graduate areas referred to as social personality psychology. And I teach a fairly broad range of undergraduate and graduate courses. The undergraduate classes that might be relevant to you are I teach a second-year survey course in social psychology, which is quite a popular course, not my course specifically, but this second-year survey course. And I also teach an advanced seminar in social psychology and my specific area of research. And I used to teach methods at the undergraduate level and may get back to that at some point. You just get really busy doing other things. And one of the degrees of freedom that I've taken advantage of is narrowing the number of different courses that I teach, but it's one of my favorite ones to teach, research methods, that is. I consider myself fairly actively involved in training both undergraduate and graduate students within my laboratory, and the nature of my research is in the area of social motivation, which is just a fancy term to sort of capture how we might judge and evaluate others, as well as ourselves, and then use those judgments to to interact with other people. And I'm specifically interested in that relationship or those relationships following interpersonal transgressions. So when somebody hurts somebody else, how do people negotiate their relationships? And I'm interested in topics like forgiveness, vengeance and grudge, as well as topics like apologies. And yeah, that's about it. Pass off here to the next person.
Thank you so much. The next professor that we have is Dr. Esther Greenglass.
Okay, so hi everybody. I'm really happy to be here. It's so great to see you, and thanks so much for coming out. This is a really important event because I think it's a great opportunity for us to make contact with you and for you to be able to ask us questions. I've been at York a long time. I can't even remember how long it's been because it's so long, but that simply attests to how great this place is. We have the best psychology department anywhere, I think, in the world. And our psychology covers so many areas: clinical psychology, social psychology, history, child psychology, you name it, we have it all. And we have the most phenomenal professors who are just acknowledged internationally as leaders in their field. And this is fantastic for you guys because you are the beneficiaries of our research and our knowledge. And first and foremost, we are here for you. So don't ever forget that. We're never too busy for students because our goal is to educate you, to help you learn how to do research, to learn about our phenomenal field. Obviously, I have a very strong passion for psychology. It's my favorite subject in the whole world. And I love doing research. And I love training students to do research. And unlike other forms of learning, the only way you can learn how to do research is to do it. You can't learn it from a book. You can't learn it from a lecture. You have to get right in there and conduct research. And that's what I love doing. I love supervising my students, showing them the way, helping them along. My area, I've had several areas. I've written books on gender and psychology. I'm also a health psychologist. And most recently, I'm interested in stress and coping. And because COVID has been so terribly stressful for everybody, this is my most recent research project. And I have some funding from the Faculty of Health at York University to help with this research. And I have undergraduates and graduates working with me, asking important questions such as how are people impacted by COVID? What kind of stressors are they experiencing? How are they coping with it? So these are all the questions that we're asking. And I love my research because it's not only relevant to our day-to-day lives, but it also engages psychology in a way that makes our science relevant to day-to-day issues. So I think I could go on for another hour and a half, but we were told to keep our remarks to a minimum. So I will pass it on to, I guess, Raymond Mar, who is the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Dr. Morph, please go ahead.
Everybody, it's a real pleasure to be here. I'm so happy that you came to this. I really think that UPSA is a remarkable organization. And, one of the things that you can really do to help yourself during your undergraduate education is becoming more associated and affiliated with UPSA. They are just a truly remarkable group of students. I was nowhere near as impressive as they are when I was an undergraduate. And I just continue to be so amazed at all the things that they continue to do to help their fellow peers. So at the undergraduate level, I teach introduction to research methods. This is a topic that I think is really near and dear to my heart. I really consider my role as a professor to be training scientists, be they undergraduate students or graduate students. That is my main purpose here as a professor. And I especially like teaching, I think, the difficult aspects like statistics or statistical software. Something that I've been working on is trying to find ways in order to introduce people to the statistical program R in a way that is as sort of like easy and approachable as possible. So I'm just going to check a link into the chat, and it's for a set of free online tutorials. So you can try to learn R. I think that it's a really powerful skill, not just for researchers, but for anyone really. There's so many jobs that involve knowing how to visualize data, how to analyze data. And if you're going to be doing that, you're almost always going to end up using R. My lab researches a lot of different topics, but as the blurb mentions, we look a lot at imagined experiences within narrative fiction, be that novels, books, or Netflix shows, movies, that kinds of things, and seeing how these imagined experiences can affect our real world thoughts, behaviors, actions, reactions, attitudes, and that sort of stuff. So that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mar, and all of our wonderful professors tonight. And with that, we're ready for the main, portion of the event to begin. When you see the message, join your breakout room on your screen. Click on it and you will be instantly brought to the breakout room. Feel free to join your room now. And if you have any problem with joining your room, anything arises, you can come back to the main room and we'll be glad to help you out. So I think.
What happened? What happens now?
Whatever you want to happen.
Is it over?
Not completely. I'm actually gonna hand the mic off to Chloe, and she's gonna tell us exactly what's gonna happen.
So
It was fabulous. I really enjoyed it, Chloe.
Thank you.
I have a cat named Chloe.
Really?
Yes.
My friends usually call me like I look like a cat.
You look like a girl. No. The only thing that's similar is the name. You don't look like a cat.
Okay. So everyone, welcome back. I hope you had a good time connecting.
I loved it.
Yeah, Professor Esther did. And so am
so
I. I've learned a lot.
You guys are fabulous. You really organized it well.
Thank you. And that goes to all of the volunteers. So again, I hope you had a good time connecting with your peers and professors and learned some valuable information. So here, I'm going to put a magic again to go in. Wow, my magic worked. So here are the social media platforms listed on the slide that we encourage you to visit. You can learn more about our events, find out when we offer peer tutoring, and how to meet a mentor, listen to our podcast, and ask us any questions you have. Magic wand. Now, we'd like to ask you to join us and the professors for a few photos, although we understand that taking photos in person is more exciting. We would still like to have some photos to remember this evening. If you don't want to be in the picture, that's okay. Please feel free to turn off your camera. It will just take a few moments. Marketing team, it's your time to shine.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm just gonna count to 3, and then at 3, I'll just take the picture. So yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna take a couple more. So 1, 2. Sorry, something happened to my computer. I can't.
It happens to the best of us. Okay, ambassadors. Ambassadors, can anyone step up and take a screenshot at the end of the countdown?
I can do it. I hope I can do it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Smile, everyone. Okay, got a picture. Should I take another one? Okay. All right. Big yes. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Oh. Okay. Amazing, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you all again.
Thank you all. Take
Thank
care.
you.
See you
Now we
again.
would now we would like to ask for your feedback on this event. So since your opinion is highly valuable to us in order for us to improve our events and provide the best possible support for students. Professors, if you could stay still, if you could stay till 7:30 to allow students to ask more questions, that would be fantastic. I meant 8 o'clock. Not 7:30, 8 o'clock. For students that has any questions, you can chat or unmute yourselves. I'm giving the floor to everyone.
Sarah, I think you can go for it.
I had a question directed at any of the professors who might be able to help. Do you specifically know of someone who does research on psychedelics other than U of T Mississauga Psychedelic Science Center? I will expand a little more to, I've been trying to do this in order to do research in the field that I'm interested in while also being open to other fields. Whether anyone in how we perceive time, how we perceive like the sense of identity, even fear of death, synesthesia, evolution of synesthesia, any of them.
I may be able to answer for one of them. I know Dr. Freund, Ingo Freund, did a lot of sensation and perception research, and part of that textbook was like the perception of time. So,
But he's not here anymore.
Oh,
yeah,
my heart.
Yeah, he's not a professor at York anymore.
Oh, I left him. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you,
but I'm sure we have other perception scientists here.
If by psychedelics, may I ask, do you mean like drugs, or are you? I'm taking a class called Drugs and Behavior with Dr. Jeffrey Ward.
I have spoken to Dr. Wardell as well already.
That's the person that I know who might be something that you're looking towards, but you could also search up at York, like the interests of the professors at York and the research areas as well. And that might help you find people whose research you're interested in.
I appreciate it. I've done that already as well, but I was looking for it.
Well, I do wish you all the best of luck as well with your search.
Thank you very, very much.
This is the last call, people. Any other questions for tonight? All right. I think if people don't have questions, there's no reason to keep everyone. We will stay behind here in case you want to ask us those questions, you know, privately, or we'll stay behind for a while. But after you finish the link for your feedback, which we do appreciate a lot, feel free to leave this meeting and enjoy the rest of your night. And of course, before that, please do give a heart or a round of applause to the wonderful instructors that joined us tonight, because this event would not be possible without their contribution.
Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone.
You guys did a great job. Thank you.
You.